Hello and welcome to Let Me Bore You to Sleep. My name's Jason Newland, and please only listen when you can. Safely close your eyes. And today, what could today be? It could be Friday, and you know what Friday means? Friday means Q&A Friday. Question and answer Friday. Yep. This is the new tradition in the Let Me Bore You to Sleep world. Q&A Friday. Wow, 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 wow. I don't know what that sound was for. Vinny is, as he normally does, as soon as I turn... As soon as I turn the computer on, not the computer, but the recording thing on. Oh, by the way, for those that listened to yesterday's Let Me Bore You to Sleep, I actually titled it, I don't know if this is recorded, I'm not sure if this is recorded. I had it on mute, but only one side, so it ended up only didn't record in both ears, as it were. Only recorded so one side, and that was the side that I can hear through the headphones, so it was on mute, but it did record. So the overall file, there was nothing on it, but the whole recording was on another file, which was, I don't know, half the size or whatever. So yeah, it's basically I pressed the wrong knob. I touched the wrong knob. We've all been there. Come on. Blah-da-ba, blah-da-ba. So this new thing, Let Me Bore You to Sleep Q&A Friday, is basically, it's, did I say Friday Q&A or Q&A Friday? I think Q&A Friday sounds better. Oh yeah, I did call it Q&A Friday. Well, the genius just never stops. So I figured, I did two last week. Now, I think I did the second one on a Friday. I can't remember. It's forever ago. So this is going to be the third Q&A Friday, even though the last one was in two parts. Technically, considering I've got a lot more questions this time, this one could be in about 4 parts, but I'm going to do it in one part. I say do it in one, I might actually have to do part of it, take him out, and then come back and do part of it again, because I think he's due a poo or something. He was a wee machine this morning. Honestly, we went out and he can do like 12-second wheeze. Normally he crouches down to do the 12-second wheeze. But you hear you barking there. Right, I'm going to close the door. I'm going to close the door, Vinny. I can't have you barking. You're going to go. No. If you bark, you'll have to go into the bedroom. You're so good most of the time. So good. You're staying here with me. You've got a treat to play with. Just need to calm down. I can't play music because I can't have music in the background with while I'm making a recording, because I suppose I could, but it'd be distracting. I can have music added to it. Which is what I do, post-edit. Or edit. It's not really post-edit, is it? Anyway, so this is, I don't know if I should just call this Q&A Friday 3. But here we go. I did send a reminder. So I sent a post, and anyone that follows what I do will be very much aware that I really plan ahead. But this week I did. and I posted this 3 days ago, according to this. So I think it would have been Monday. Although it says 3 days, I reckon it was Monday I posted it. And I posted next Q&A podcast this Friday, the 19th of April, 2024. Post your questions here. Kissy, 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 kissy. So I've had 9 comments. I've not replied to any of them because I'm replying to them in the podcast. So hope that's okay. If you don't think I've ignored you. And I posted a quick reminder today. Just a reminder, I'm making Q&A Friday today. Last chance to send questions. And I've had 4. So in my accounting, that's 9 plus 4. That's more than 7, isn't it? So, I mean, like, I think I only had like 5 or 6 last week. So it's quite a few. So I should do my best. So I'll let you know who's left comments. And hopefully I'll be able to remember them all. So look, all comments. Oh, okay. So from all comments, Kate, Christine, Robin asked 2 questions. I don't know, Robin. I don't know if you get to ask 2. That seems a little bit excessive. A little bit. Oh, 2 questions. I'll see what I can do. Oh, where are we? Blimey. I should just get on with it, really, shouldn't I? But that's never going to happen. Jenny, Jove, Leah, as in Star Wars, Frankie or Francie. And then today's updated one, there is all comments. Cindy, Diana, and Joanne. So I'll start from the first lot, which was earlier in the week, and then I'll move into the next one. So I took Vinny. Actually, what I've done yesterday, I was very pleased with my workout outcome, whatever the word is. Yeah, whatever I did, I was pleased that I did a few bits. I made 3 podcast episodes, or 3 recordings. I call them podcasts now, but they never used to be called podcasts when I did them before. They would just be recordings. I didn't really think of them as podcasts, even though, although I would put them on a podcast, for me, they were separate entities within themselves. So I did a Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Let me just have a look. I did a Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Not sure if this recorded. So it's 1099. That was yesterday. I did. And then I did a Sleepy Boring Objects. Nanny Newland. What inspired me to do that one is because somebody posted a comment telling me they liked my Sleepy Boring Objects mops, the version called mops, which I thought, I'll do another one. And I've also got a Deep Sleep Whisper Hypnosis, number 514, Slowing Time in Your Mind. And the Sleepy Boring Objects was number 36. Mind you, I did a Sleepy Boring Objects the other day, didn't I? No? Sure I did. Oh well. And today I did a new Jason's bedtime story time, which was number 30, and it's called Frogtopia. Let me have a look at that. I just want to check. I'm a little bit confused. So I did bedtime story time. Sleepy Boring Objects 36. So when was the last Sleepy Boring Objects one I did? Playlists. Sleepy Boring Objects. Sleepy. Boring objects. Oh, 35. So number 35. So I did number 36. The last one I did was called Karate, and that was the 7th of March last year. Wow. 7th of March last year. So yeah, it's been a year and more than a year and I don't know, 5 weeks. Blimey. So the first question. You can hear Vinny's. What is he doing? Oh, he's chewing on a bone. Cool. So the first question is from Kate. I won't say anyone's surname, but you'll see that if you join Jason Newland's Boring Group on Facebook, and then you get an opportunity to ask me questions for future Q&A Fridays. It's the only way you get to ask me questions is if you join the group. It's a private group, but you'll be added. Just apply Jason Newland's Boring Group. That's the best place to be able to contact me. So Kate says, why do you, itch ear, oh, she didn't say that. She said, why do you create a YouTube video when you also say only listen when you can safely close your eyes? Do you have more listeners on YouTube or podcast? I'll answer that back to front. Way more listeners on podcast. I have very few listeners on YouTube. I'll be honest with you, there's no point lying, it's true. I have a very small audience on YouTube. I'll give you the stats, see? I'll give you the stats, man. YouTube Studio, let's have a look. So my YouTube channel, I've got 1,187 subscribers. And analytics, let's say, lifetime video views, according to this, is 140,179 views so far. So it's very small. And the last 28 days, I've had 2,281 views. So, as you can see, it's a very, very, very small amount. I mean, the lifetime is from 16th of March 2018. 140,000. So was that 10? That's not even 14. That's probably like 14, 15 days of a podcast, and that's 6 years of YouTube. So yeah, it's not a lot. Not a lot. Last 365 days, 36,732 plays. And on my podcast, let's have a look at the insights. So what did it say there? 36,732 plays in the last 365 days on my podcast. I've got 3 podcasts, but there's the Let Me Boy to Sleep, and then there's the other one, which is kind of the main one for all of my stuff, Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply. So for the last 7 days, I've had 40,236 plays in 7 days, compared to 365 days, 336,000. So I've had more in the last 7 days than I have in the last year on YouTube. It's not very impressive, is it, really? I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it's just the way it is. That's how things is on YouTube. I try and add stuff, and I've now been adding my podcasts just so people have got the option to watch if they choose, or listen rather. But the reason I say listen is, why do I say listen when you can safely close your eyes? I'm just used to saying it. I realise on YouTube I should say watch or listen or watch, because it's YouTube and it's a video. I assume that people will be closing their eyes when listening to a relaxation video. So, but if they're watching it whilst in traffic or something stupid like that, then only listen when you can safely close your eyes, because they'll also be listening. I mean, if they have the volume down, it's going to make no difference to them, because my videos, their bass is not really going to make any difference. Not going to make them sleepy or anything, I guess. Why would you watch a video without the sound? Well, okay. There is times when perhaps you would, but generally not when you're in your car. Not when people can see in. So Christine, thanks, Kate. I think I've answered those 2 questions. Christine says, who would your celebrity dinner guests be, and why? Celebrity dinner guests. Well, people that are alive now. I'm gonna go live and dead. I'm gonna do two different versions there. Sometimes that kind of question, who would your ideal people be, dead or alive? I'm gonna do, I think, dead separate to alive, because it just makes it a little bit less awkward. And I guess it's a little bit less smelly for the live people as well. So I'm going to do live first. Anyone that's alive now that I would like to meet celebrity-wise? As a dinner guest, one would probably be a comedian, Stuart Lee. I used to know him as on the comedy circuit, and he's a phenomenal, one of probably the best comedians I'd say in the world, actually. But I don't know, someone that I'd like to, I guess I'd go for people I've never met before and I'd like to meet, and I'd be excited about meeting. So celebrities are around now that I'd be excited to meet. I can't think of anyone. Let's have a look. Sorry about the noise outside. Every time I do a recording, just the high pitched noises, and they're very loud. You can hear that every time. Oh, we had this woman lived over there. Well, she didn't live over there, but her boyfriend lived over there, and they had a kid together, and she'd come around every day and screaming and shouting and all that stuff. And eventually he moved, so it was like a bit of peace. Had years of that, and now this one's moved in, and it's just it's just like a a constant wave of shite. I know it's just whatever it is, but it's constant noise. It's not their fault. They can't help it. As a kid, kids make noise. I know I did, but Peter can't keep her indoors until I finish my podcast. Just keep the noise down, just for an hour a day, please. Yeah, not reality, is it? Who would my celebrity guest be? I can't even think of anyone famous that I'd particularly be bothered about meeting. Because there's comedians, but I know that just from experience that a lot of comedians are very grumpy, and then I don't think it'd be much fun meeting my comedy heroes. Not all comedians are grumpy, but the ones I've been around a lot, and they're not the personas that you see on the stage generally, or on the screen. I mean, I love Richard Pryor, but I'm sure he was beheld to be around off stage or off screen. But that's enough of my dead guests, because he would be on that list anyway, just because he's one of my heroes. Oh, blimey. This is terrible, isn't it? Who would I choose live? Famous people. I'm just trying to think of movie stars. I think Sydney Sweeney is one. I've just got a little bit of a thing for her at the moment. I don't know why. A little bit of a... I don't know. I've seen a couple of her movies, and I got a little bit of a little bit, and it's a weird one, but a little bit of a crush on her, I think, at the moment. Just a little bit. It's weird. Sydney Sweeney. And she's always in she's a really good actor, and I just find her quite fascinating to look at, just like the facial expressions, and yeah, so her. What else? As long as she didn't bring her boyfriend. Who else? Singers. Billie Eilish fascinates me a bit. I quite like to meet her and her brother, because they're both very fascinating people. Just possibly musical geniuses. I don't know, just something about them. If we go back to old celebrities, people that have been around my whole lifetime. What about singers? So singers, I've done Billie Eilish, but I haven't. You know what I mean? Billie Eilish, Rihanna. But then I'll just be going through women that I fancy. So, but I like Rihanna because I like her earlier stuff. Because she's been around forever now. Okay, boxers. That would be an obvious one, wouldn't it? Boxers. Who would I like to meet in the boxing world? It'd be interesting to meet Tyson Fury. I'd like to meet Joe Joyce. I want Joe Joyce. It'd be a boxing dinner. That's what it'd be, to be honest. Not that bothered about meeting celebrities. There's no one that I'm particularly that bothered about, really. But boxers, that's a different thing. So it would be David Benavidez. It'd be all the main boxers that I like, because that would be a meal that I'd look forward to going to. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? That's probably what I'd like to do. As far as people that are alive, Billie Eilish and the people I mentioned, wouldn't be that bothered. but boxers definitely. The ones that I really like as I said, David Benavidez, Tank Davis. There's so many to be. It would be a big dinner. It would. And Tyson Fury would be there. Tyson Fury and Mike Tyson. So, and some heavyweights. Fabio Wardley, Joe Joyce. So you need a lot of food because they're big lads. And the good thing about it is I'll be sitting at a table and I wouldn't feel big because they're all way bigger than me, which is nice. So I wouldn't feel overweight. Not that any of them are overweight, but I'm just, you know what I mean. If you've got a giant sitting next to you, it puts things into a little bit of a proportion, doesn't it? You know, you got Tyson Fury, 7-foot giant, sitting next to you. He's about, what's that? My 5'8". He's more than a foot higher than me. So he literally, I'd feel little compared to him. Other boxers, I'd like to. There are heroes from the past in the boxing world that I'd like to meet. So someone like Lloyd Hunnigan, who I have met once, but he didn't. It was just I was at work and he turned up, and he had to move his car. That was a TV studio that I was security for back in 1996. Yes. So Lloyd Hunnigan, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, just people like, Hearns. I think it'd be interesting to meet Larry Holmes. A lot of the different fighters from the past that I admired and used to love watching. Sugar Ray Leonard. Boxers of today. There's so many. There's so many. But it would be a very, very big dinner. Literally, not just it'd be a big table. You need a big table. Quite a few big chairs. You'd have to have different size, different level of the table. You probably have to have like one that just kind of goes up. So you'll have the featherweights at the bottom, and you'll have me, and I'll probably be in the middle, and then the real heavyweights will be at the top, and they'll need a higher level. So Barrow McGuigan, that was one of the heroes I had when I was younger. He was a boxing hero. Nassim Hamid, Prince Nassim. Oh, how did I forget him? Yeah, he was one of my all-time favourite boxers ever, like in the history of boxing. As was Hagler, as was Hearns, as was Nigel Benn, as was Hunnigan, Lloyd Hunnigan. These were people that I absolutely loved watching. Deep, Roy Jones Jr. But although I didn't really get to appreciate how great he was because his fights were not on terrestrial television, so I didn't get to see a lot of his fights. I got to see the ones at the tail end of his career, but not the ones when he was in his prime, when no one could touch him. Roy Jones Jr. once, he played a basketball game, I think professionally, the same day that he played, that he fought a world title fight. The same day, either before or afterwards. I'm guessing probably before. Basketball would probably be in the afternoon. I mean, really? Who does that? I don't do either. But, just saying, it's kind of I'm surprised he was allowed, insurance-wise. I'm surprised any insurance company would cover a boxing event where one of the main boxers is going to be in another sporting event where he could get injured. Because think about it. Imagine how much the basketball team would get sued by the boxing promoters for ruining, a world title fight. Wow. Anyway, so it would be boxers. Yeah, it'll be boxers. Now, people that are dead or that are no longer alive, no longer with us. So I would have a celebrity dinner for people that are no longer with us. That list would be different. It wouldn't. There'd be some boxers, Rocky Marciano, probably Muhammad Ali. There'd be a lot, Marvin Hagler. So there'd be a few there, and I would then move into film stars. Jimmy Stewart, he'd have to be at the head of the table. Although, to be fair, if Jane Mansfield decided she wanted to sit in the chair that I had, allocated for Jimmy Stewart, I'd let her do anything she wanted, any time she wanted, any moment, if she said get rid of all the other guests, I would. So yeah, I think Jane Mansfield, because bearing in mind I think she was gone before I was even born. I've seen a lot of stuff and you think, oh, it's just because of how she looks. Obviously, no, it isn't. I've seen documentary about her and where she's been interviewed. She was super, super intelligent. She was funny. Yeah, she was beautiful. It didn't hurt, but wow, I was watching this documentary, fallen in love with her, and I've been a fan of hers all my life. Ever since I was a kid, I used to watch her movies when I was a kid, and since the internet's been around, I've been able to watch more like old footage of her being interviewed, and she was amazing. And I know, in reality, I wouldn't have been the body type she went for, because she was with a Mr. Universe or something, so a bodybuilder. So I know I wouldn't have stood a chance until she got to her 50s or something. Maybe I would have done then, but I still would have only been about 10. So, yeah, Jane Mansfield was... You didn't ask me my cry. No one's asked me what women are like, or maybe they have. But Jane Mansfield, and some people say, oh, Marilyn Monroe. No, Jane Mansfield. As far as... There's a few over the years, but I won't talk about... Not here to talk about that. Just... It's a celebrity guest. Jimmy Stewart, Jane Mansfield, Richard Pryor, George Carlin. I'll probably get Red Fox in there as well. I would have the boxers. I've already mentioned the boxers that are passed away, so I'll add all those ones, the ones I mentioned before. So that'd be Marvelous Hagler, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Did you know? I might have mentioned this before. Marvin Hagler, his nickname was Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and that's how he wanted to be presented as he walked into the ring. And one day he was announced, but it was just Marvin Hagler. And you got to bear in mind that he was at the time one of the greatest boxers of his era. He beat everyone. He was unbeaten at this point, and he was marvellous. He was a very marvellous man. So he was upset because he asked, please call me Marvellous Marvin Hagler, which is normal. Hitman Hearns, the Dark Destroyer for Nigel Benn. Nicknames are just standard. Money Mayweather. I mean, first of all, he was Pretty Boy Mayweather, then he changed his name to Money Mayweather. But then I think it was I'm just trying to think. There's another one. Larry. I don't know. But anyway, so I'd have those, the boxes. Who else would I have? Singers, but there's the obvious to me. Elvis. That's a cliche. I had Michael Jackson there. I'd have Whitney Houston. I'd have Sinead O'Connor. I'd have my favourite female singer pretty much of all time, just specifically for her voice, was, what's her name from the Cranberries? Dolores from the Cranberries. The best, just a voice that I could listen to. Well, I do still listen to it now. I'm not listening to it right now, but I'm saying do 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 do. See, hey, etched in my mind. So I would have her and just say to her, look, what the hell? Her and Sinead O'Connor, to be fair, Sinead O'Connor and Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, just get him in a huddle and say, what the hell? Why? But hey, that's enough politics. It's like, why? Just Whitney Houston. I loved Whitney. Loved. Like, I probably never... I loved the voice of Dolores. I loved the voice of Whitney, but also, to me, she's like an angel, kind of, angelic voice, angelic face, just phenomenal. Just thought she was a beautiful person. But hey, and I'd like to hear people. I'd like to hear them sing. So that's what I'd like. I guess really, I'd quite like to hear Michael and Sinead and Dolores and what's her name, Whitney, all kind of having a little jamming session. That'd be cool. George Michael as well. George Michael. And it'd just be... And not just George Michael, I'd also like Andrew Ridgeley's there as well, because I think George Michael deservedly got a huge amount of credit for Wham. But George Michael, so people forget, George Michael was a heartthrob, but so was Andrew Ridgeley. See, people forget that. And some would argue that Andrew Ridgeley was actually better looking. Some would argue. And he was a heartthrob. They were both heartthrobs. Yeah, you look back in history, it's like, oh, George Michael, he was Wham. No, both of them was Wham. Both of them. Just like Bros. They originally had a bass player, or was it a keyboard player, called Craig, and then they both kind of went on together. The singer and it might, I don't know, maybe he was a keyboard player or the drummer. I think. See, to me, they both. Like Matt, it was Matt, he got a lot of the attention. But I think Luke was just as attractive as Matt. Just as attractive. Check out Bros to see what I mean. Tell me, out of Bros and Luke, Bros, out of Matt and Luke are Bros. I look at a picture of them, they look different now. One hasn't got any hair anymore, I think. But if you look at Matt and Luke from Bros, Bros, from late 80s, tell me, I mean, they're equally as good looking, aren't they? Just check it out. Let me know what you think. For those that don't know who Bros is. I'd be happy just for Jane Mansfield just to turn up, to be honest. As long as she didn't bring her boyfriend, her bodybuilding boyfriend. That'd be annoying. And yeah, that'd just be my luck. Just my luck. You know? That's a weird conversation. But yeah, so Richard Pryor. I think I mentioned Richard Pryor, didn't I? Jimmy Stewart. There's probably a lot more that I haven't mentioned that people that I admire from the past that I've not mentioned. So I've missed a few people out. Sam Kinison would be one. John Candy. I always found John Candy to be so lovely on stage, on film. Always came across just so nice. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I've gone too long talking about that, I realise, but hey, that's kind of what I seem to do for some reason. Vinny's asleep on my feet. I have to move my feet to get a bit of circulation. Who would be your celebrity dinner guest and why? So the boxers, because I'm a big boxing fan, and it's not even that I'd have questions necessarily. It'd just be cool to see them chatting. You know, it'd just be cool to... I mean, Fabio Wardley, he doesn't even live... Well, he's from a town near where I live. And my friend's mum even knows his family. But I can't be a fanboy. I can't just like try and make an excuse to go up and see him and say, "Oh, can I autograph, please?" Because that just seems weird. Seems like a weird thing to do. But I'm a big fan of his. I have been since he started a few years back. Oh well. So the next question, I hope that answered Kate and Christine's questions. The next one is Robin. Robin, what life advice would you offer to a young kid? You know, this is going to sound really... There's a few things. This one, the first one, is going to sound conceited. It's going to sound also... What's the word where you tell people not to do things that you've done? So it's kind of... But I would say this from a experiential situation. But at the same time, depends how young the kid is, because certain things you can't really talk about to a young kid. And I definitely wouldn't say this about a parental, allowance, because it's not my place. But what I would say, let's say if it was my kid, if I had a young kid, I would say, and it's a cliche, keep away from girls. No, I wouldn't. Whether it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. I'd say keep away from drugs. Don't have anything to do with anyone that does drugs. Now, I know it's a hard one, and I know that it's going to get hard for people when they get to their teenage years, and maybe they're around people that are puffing and, whatever. But I would say don't ever take drugs other than prescription, if it's medical thing. I'd also add to that, don't drink alcohol. But again, that's a hard one because of the society we're in, and be careful with alcohol would be probably my thing. Be careful with it, but definitely keep away from drugs. Don't take drugs of any kind, recreationally, or self-medicationally either, because I think a lot of people take it as self-medication, alcohol, drugs and stuff. So that's one of the things I'd say. I don't know how I would put it though if it was a young kid, because you can't say that to a 5-year-old. Don't take drugs. What's drugs? It's like, go up to their parents. He said I shouldn't take drugs. I should keep away from girls. I know, I didn't mean to. So yeah. Other things I would... It's hard because young kids, their brains are not developed. I'm not sure if any of our brains ever get properly developed, but whatever we say to a kid, especially if it's not our kid, is going to be very much not really necessarily taken in. Because kids, well, all of us from the age of 0 to 7, those are our main years of learning. So all our unconscious processes seem to be built at that time. It is kind of established in psychological terms. Doesn't mean we can't learn new ways of doing things. Of course we do, because we learn new things constantly. But there's a lot of unconscious processes going on that go back to when we were like 5 and 4 and 3, and things we see parents and other adults and other kids do. And there's so much stuff that we take in that it's hard to... Yeah, it's a very strange one. If I could change that question to what life advice would I give to a young kid that they would definitely take? Don't do drugs. So I'm quite I never used to be, but I'm very anti-drugs these days, for a good reason, for a very, very good reason. It's personal, but it's for a very good reason. And I'm not a big fan of alcohol either, for a very good reason. But at the same time, I'm not on this planet to stop other people doing what they want to do. So I do believe in freedom. So, I'm not like, ban all alcohol. No. Because that doesn't work. It's been tried and it didn't work, did it? But, yeah, that's probably it. As far as philosophical advice, be yourself. Or possibly even more important, find out what you love doing. Find out what you love doing. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it doesn't hurt another person, doesn't hurt anyone, it doesn't hurt yourself. That's the two criterias that are very important. I mean, you could say, what if they want to get into boxing? Because you're both going to get hurt. You're hurting others and you're getting hurt yourself. Fair enough. There's always a way around the answer, isn't there? But find what you're brilliant at, that you also love doing. It's kind of a twofold one. Because I believe we're all really good at something. And I'm not going to limit it to just one thing, but I believe we're all really, really good at something. Whether we've discovered that thing or not is another thing. It's another question. And we might be really, really good at something, but not realise that we're even better at something else. But we'll never find that out because we haven't looked, or our life hasn't taken us in that direction. I mean, I bet you there are, for example, there are probably people out there, in the world who could be, I don't know, could be like, have amazing brains for physics, for example, but they never bothered. It wasn't something that they were interested in, so they didn't pursue studying physics or studying astronomy or studying mathematics, for example. They might be average in maths but had no interest in it. But had they been interested in it, they might have discovered that they were actually a genius at mathematics, that they had the ability to change the world. And in my little brain, I have the idea that everybody has the opportunity. Everyone has within them the ability to change the world in some way, and that's why I want to come to one of my favourite songs. What's it called? There's a song, and it's called "In Our Small Way" by Michael Jackson. It's him when he was a kid, so the Jackson 5 or whatever, and it's one of those ones that's going to be played at my funeral if I have a say. So here's how it goes. I think he talks this bit. Maybe you and I can't do great things. We may not change the world in one day, but we still can change some things today in our small way. I didn't realise that word was can't. I thought it was can. Because in America, maybe you can do great things. It sounds the same as can, because here we say can and can't. But in a different accent, can and can't sounds very similar. So maybe you and I can't do great things. We may not change the world in one day, but we still can change some things today in our small way. Empty words are not enough. Where there's hurt will be a crush. What? When there's thirst, we'll fill each other's cup. Because we care, we love enough to share. Maybe you and I can't do great things. We may not change the world in one day, but we still can change some things a day in our small world. In despair will be the hope, and the prayer that frees the soul. Will be there to share each other lonely nights, because we love, I know we care. He was 10 years old, come on, but I like the idea of it. We can still make a change. There's an old philosophy tale or whatever. There's a bloke, he's on a beach, and there is millions of starfish. And by that I don't mean bumholes, starfish on the beach, washed up. And this man, or this person, man, woman, child, I don't know. It's a story, I don't know if it's real or not. Anyway, they were chucking in starfish back into the ocean. And someone came along and said, why are you bothering with that? That's not going to save them. Not make a difference to this situation. And the man chucking the starfish back into the ocean said, no, it's not going to help all the ones out there, but it's going to make a difference to this one's life. I think it was a bit more punchier than that. I think it was a bit more shorter and a bit more pithy. So I didn't really do it justice. I probably shouldn't have mentioned starfish and bums, but that probably didn't help with the story either. But that was one of my stories that I remember from the past. Most of the stories I remember from the past. So what advice would I give to a young kid? I mean, some say like, find your passion. There's that one, but I just like, yeah, I guess it's the same way as saying find your passion. But find something you're really good at that you love doing. And also maybe find something that you really love doing that you don't like, that you're not good at, that you love doing but that perhaps you're not good at. But something that you really, I think you can have both together, separate. So you can have a happy life. If you find something that you're brilliant at doing, that you enjoy doing it, maybe you're not passionate about it, but you enjoy doing it, and you can have the rest of the time when you're not working, you can do something that you absolutely adore doing, but it doesn't bring you any money or whatever, or perhaps you're not very good at it, but you just love doing it. So yeah, I guess just find what you love doing. Find out what you love doing. And I suppose, find your passion, maybe that's the same thing, but I think loving doing something is more than passion, I think. I think of passion in kind of a romantic way. That's probably wrong, but is it strange that every now and then I think of this job I had as a cleaning job going back to 1990. I'm walking through this alleyway with a bunch of people all walking to work. It just happens everyone went to work at the same time for 2 hours cleaning this block of offices on the docks. And there was this girl there. She was probably a little bit younger than me, maybe 18, 19. I was 20, I think, maybe 19, 20. And even now, and this is 100 years ago, every now and then I still think of her, because it's one of the most just outstanding humans I've ever met in my life, females I've met. It just blew me away, and I wanted to talk to her. And every time I went to talk to her, I was like, blah, blah, blah. I just couldn't talk to her. And she was really open, really friendly, wasn't stuck up or anything like that, which she was just nice. Very, seemed like she was quite secure within herself, whatever that means. But I couldn't talk to her because she was too beautiful. I remember once I kind of I suppose I needed a mop to clean up some vomit, and I said, "Excuse me," to one of the other ladies, but she turned round, the one that I liked. She turned around and said, "Yeah, what is it, Jason?" Don't know how she knew my name. I did have a name badge. Maybe, I don't know. I'm making it up. And all I did was just like point to the ground and say, "Vomit, vomit, vomit, there's vomit." And she just like looked at me like I was weird. Not the first time I've seen that expression, and not the last. I've seen that expression on people's faces, especially women's faces, many times over the years. So yeah, I don't know. Also, I would say, if to a young kid, if you meet someone you like and they like you, providing there's no legal infringements, go for it. If you find happiness, go for it. That would be my thing. I have totally messed up in the past with situations like that. And not that I particularly want to give a young kid, romantic advice, because that wouldn't be appropriate, I guess. But then telling not to do drugs probably wouldn't be appropriate either. Find what you love doing. So that I want to put that down as it. Robin, another one from Robin. Do you like music? If so, favourite band or singer? Yeah, doesn't everyone like music? I just figured everyone does. Yeah, I love music. I like, for different things. So I'm a little bit stuck in the 80s as far as my favourite songs. Yeah, because that was my era. Really, I was born in 1970, but my era, as far as music goes, would be late 70s and 80s. You know, the period when I was at school, when I would very much be aware of what songs were in the charts. I'd follow it. I really follow it. Watch Top of the Pops every week. I had a magazine called Lookin', which I get every week, and it focused very much on the bands and the pop singers, as well as actors and stuff, but very much on music. So yeah, these days I like music as in I like listening to classical music. I do, and I quite like the pan flute as well. But I like music, different varieties of music. I like listening to some of the old, the original. I say original, like Beethoven, Bach, Brahms. I don't know, different, very famous musicians from the past. And yeah, I like all. I mean, even back in, we're going back to when I was about 11. I used to like to lay down on my bed and listen to soundtracks from movies. So like from Superman, Star Wars, the spaghetti western movies. Wee 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 doo doo doo. Wee 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 doo doo doo. Wee 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 doo 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 doo. Doop 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 doop. Okay, that's probably not how it went, but yeah, I used to like listening to that. It used to chill me out. But I also used to. I've been a fan of 60s, 50s, 60s singers as well. So I was very much. I like the Beatles. Loved Elvis. I loved the Beatles, but I loved Elvis. And then there was other people like Buddy Holly. Even I'm talking like when I was 14, 15, 14 maybe, I don't know. I had a real thing about Buddy Holly. I'd listen to him every day. It's just, I wanted to be him. Well, I didn't want to be him, but I wanted to be someone that could write songs that good, but to be that prolific in such a short period of time, because he was a young man when he left, and he produced so many songs. It would have been very interesting to see what he would have accomplished had he been around for a lot longer, because how old was he? 22 years old. I mean, blimey, come on, man. 1959 he passed away, 22, and he released, I don't even know how many songs he released that I like, that were, in fact, the Wikipedia page, right, doesn't even have room to put his discography on. Has to have a separate page, and this is someone that only lived to 22. He only did 2 studio albums. No, he did 3. Sorry, 3 studio albums. One in 1957 and 2 in 1958. And compilation albums, I think a lot of stuff happened after he was gone. So there's been a lot of them. A lot. In fact, the last one was 2018. But these are the singles. So 1956 to 1959, what's that, 3 years? So, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. It's just ridiculous how many songs he did. I mean, I'm going to list these songs and you're going to know them. Whether or not you're a Buddy Holly fan or not, providing you're over the age of 50 or something, I don't know, 40 or 50. If you're really young and you're not a Buddy Holly fan, then you might not know the songs. But there's a lot of famous songs. I might miss some out because I just don't remember the title. So that'll be the day. Peggy Sue. Every day. Every day. Things are getting faster. Going faster than a roller coaster. And then you got Oh Boy. I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. Oh, is that Oh Boy? Not Fade Away. Or is that? I'm gonna tell you, love's gonna be real for you to show it on how I feel. Love don't fade away. Okay, that was Fade Away. Oh Boy, that was a different one. So, and then you got I'm Gonna Love You. I don't know about that one. Listen to Me. So Listen to Me. I don't know if this was a hit, but it's like, listen to me, hear what I say. Our hearts will be closer each day. Hold me, darling, listen closer to me. Something like that. I told the stars that you're my only love. I wanna love you this journey. Those same bright stars from heaven above, all round house you remind me. Something like that. Maybe baby, I have you. Maybe baby, you be true. Maybe baby, I have you for me. Then you got Rave On, and tell me not to be lonely. And you got Think It Over. Think it over what you just said. Think it over in your pretty little head. Are you sure that I'm not the one? Is your love real or only fun? Just think it over. 'Cause only heart grows cold and old. So many. It's so easy. It's so easy to fall in love. It's so easy to fall in love. Oh man, there's so many brilliant songs. There's ones that I don't remember. Real Wild Child, I don't know that one. Heartbeat, do 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 do. See, I don't remember that one until it was on a TV show called Heartbeat, and it's like, oh, okay. But then you got It Doesn't Matter Anymore. Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. There you going, baby. Here am I, where you left me here so I could sit and cry. Well, golly gee, what have you done to me? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. And you got Raining in My Heart. The sun is out, the sky is blue. There's not a cloud to spoil the view, and it's raining. Do 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 do. Raining in my heart. So that's that one. Peggy Sue Got Married. Peggy Sue got married not long ago. So that was True Love Ways. Blimey. Probably. See, some of these songs, they were released after he was gone. And this True Love Way has got to be one of the best songs he ever did. It's like, just you know why you and I will fly and fly. No true love ways. Do. Sometimes he's staring at me like, please stop singing, Daddy. Sometimes we'll cry. Do. Sometimes we'll sigh, and you know why. Just you and I, your true love ways. What's the one that I used to sing to people? It's so easy to fall in love. Peggy Sue, Love Me, Peggy Sue, Words of Love, Peggy Sue, Not Fade Away. Maybe Baby, Rave On Thinks, Early in the Morning, It's So Easy, Heartbeat, Rain, Peggy Sue, True Love Ways. I think it might have been True Love Ways. I wonder what his greatest hits. Let's have a look at this. This is going to bug me now. So his greatest hits. So let's have a look. See, because he did a lot of his. That'll Be the Day. Words of Love. Not Fade Away. Every Day. Did I say every day? Every day. Things are getting faster, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey. Hey, maybe baby I have you. Maybe baby Peggy Sue. Are you telling me Peggy Sue wasn't even mentioned in the last one? It must have done. It doesn't matter anymore. Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. There you go. Maybe here am I where you left me. Okay, I did do that. True Love Ways, Heartbeat. I think it was True Love Ways, the one I used to sing. But was Peggy Sue in that list? I don't think it was. I don't think Peggy Sue was actually in that list. Yes, it was. Okay, let's move on. This isn't a podcast about Buddy Holly, you know. I also loved Elvis. Lots and lots of singers, to be honest. As some people like to say, I'm quite eclectic. Quite erectic, collectic. Favourite singers at the moment. I've still got albums that I like to listen to, like complete albums. Even now, from the 80s. Also like to listen to greatest hits. So the Bee Gees is one. That's one of my favourite albums, actually, the Bee Gees' greatest hits. But then as far as albums go, there's the Cranberries album, so the one with Zombie on it. Then that's one of my favourite albums. Something about, is it Arguing, Stop Arguing or something? And then you've got George Michael, Faith. Was it Faith? His first album, solo album he did. That was my favourite of his. And you got Craig David, a couple of his albums. Daniel Bedingfield, a couple of his albums. Will Young, his second album. These are albums that I could listen to, and just know every song. A lot of Michael Jackson's solo albums, so Off the Wall, Ben, he was a kid, but it was a solo album. Off the Wall, Bad, Dangerous, History, and and I forget the name of the last one that I liked. It wasn't a lot. Yeah, it was the last one he did. It was 2001, I think. 2001. Yeah, I think it was his last album. It might not have been, but that was good. I like that. So yeah, a lot of his stuff. Terence Trent D'Arby. I like 2 of his albums. I really love 2 of his albums. There's a lot of different singers. I like singers that sing. What do you mean, as opposed to the ones that do mime? No, I didn't finish the sentence. He's just got his back to me, staring at the wall. I don't know why. What's he doing that for? I think he just needs to stare. Maybe he's half asleep. Oh, he's noticing that I'm talking about him now. He's turned his head so he can hear what I'm saying. He doesn't like it when I do long recordings because he just doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I'll need to get through these questions a bit quicker, don't I? Is this going to be a 2-parter again? I think it might be. I'm sorry. Oh, man. What is one smell? Jenny asks, what is one smell that you absolutely love and why? I'm going to answer this there's 2 smells that I love. There's 3, I can't tell you one of them. There's 4, 5, 6, there's a few. I love the smell of bacon, but not baking like bread, cakes. I love that smell. I absolutely love it. I do like the smell of a nice cooked dinner. I do. But as far as love, there's frankincense. This is going to sound very religious now. Really, the top 2. The first one, I don't want it to come across as creepy. And it's not the one that I won't tell you about earlier. No, that would be creepy if I told you that. This, I love the smell. And this is a standard thing anyway. But I don't think I've ever smelled anything as something that almost like changes your biology as you do it, and that is a newborn baby's head. I don't mean once it's cleaned, but like a baby's head. I don't know if it's because you basically can smell their brain because they've still got that soft patch or whatever. But a baby's head. Now, I don't go around smelling babies' heads. I just want to put that out there. Okay, I'm not a weirdo. I'm a weirdo, but not that kind of weirdo. And when I say changes your biology, now I haven't smelt a lot of babies' heads, but I've got a couple of what do you call them? Nieces, nephews, whatever they are. And I've met I've had friends that have had kids and stuff. And when you smell a baby's head, there's literally nothing you wouldn't do for that baby. In that moment, like you would protect that baby with your life. Well, that's how I felt. Not because it's my baby, not because I like babies or have any kind of maternal instincts towards babies. I don't really necessarily have that. I've got no kids of my own, so I guess I don't have that. But that something kicks in. It's like a human thing that you's like, you know what? You would just do anything to make sure that baby was safe. So yeah, that's kind of weird, but I know that's got nothing. Maybe it's got nothing to do with the smell of the head. Maybe it's just to do with being a human being. But yeah, baby's head, baby's scalp. I should be more specific because the face is part of the head. Don't smell the face because that would be weird. Why are you smelling his cheeks? Like his chin. That'd be strange. But his eyeballs. Eyeballs are weird. Baby's eyes. and are basically like ET, like aliens, aren't they? But anyway, smelling a baby's head and frankincense, that's another smell. I did aromatherapy, trained in aromatherapy for a while back in 2003, and frankincense was the one smell that I just like, wow, above all of them. I like lots of different smells, but frankincense has got a... I never understood it, right? As I said, it's getting religious because I'm thinking, Jesus and frankincense and a little baby and stuff like that. I thought frankincense, when I grew up reading about frankincense and myrrh and don't know what the other one was, is like gold or some kind of, but frankincense is just an incense. It's a smell. But what a smell. Is phenomenal. It's really... I should get some. I used to have some. I used to have a bottle here. But it's something, I don't know, otherworldly. But it's not otherworldly, but it just has an effect on me in quite a positive way, I think. Blimey, I couldn't even do a simple question like that quickly, could I? Sorry, there you are, Jenny. Oh no, come back. What have you done? All comments. Next question is Jove. Would you rather only watch one single movie for the rest of your life, or only eat the same food for the rest of your life? I'm going to go for... To be fair, I could easily eat the same food for the rest of my life. Easily. That would not be issue. That would, as long as it was healthy food, something that that I'd be okay eating, providing I enjoyed eating it, I liked it, I could do that. It's weird. I don't know why, and it's a bit of a strange thing as well. But yeah, I could. Would I want to? Probably not, to be honest. Would I want to watch just one single movie? The problem with that is my favourite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. It's like far and away my favourite movie. And if you was to ask me, if you was to change that question to literally you can only watch one movie, I guess it's the whole desert island thing, isn't it? What movie would you take with you? Well, it'd be a movie on how to escape from a desert island, probably. But if it was like, It's a Wonderful Life, but I wouldn't watch it very often. It'd be like maybe once a year, Christmas, because I love it, but I don't really want to watch it a lot. It's my favourite movie, and I guess it probably always will be now, because I've loved it for so long, ever since I was 17, and I'm now, 83? So yeah, it's gonna be my favourite movie of all time. But as far as eating, sometimes I just find eating a chore. Just like, I've got to get food now. I'd rather just press a button and the food was done and it was in there, I don't get a huge amount of pleasure from eating. So, unless it's chocolate or something nice, then I do. But that's just not much good for me. But there you go. I guess I'm just not eating the right things. I need to find stuff that I enjoy eating. I might have some pasta today. So yeah, I think I'll probably go for, if I could, even though I could eat something, because I do quite often eat the same thing every day, but not for the whole day, if you know what I mean. I'll have the same breakfast, day in, day out, year in, year out. But if I had to have that for every meal, maybe yeah, maybe not. So it just means I'd eat less, which perhaps would be a better thing, good thing for me. Hope I answered that. I hope. Leah, from Star Wars says, how did you get to be a hypnosis podcaster? What was the journey? You've mentioned Jesus and Buddhism and also other jobs like security guarding. I like the way you said you mentioned Jesus and Buddhism and also other jobs like security. My job was never being Jesus or Buddhist or Buddhist. It's like the same sentence. And other jobs like being a security guard. Well, when I was Jesus and Buddha, I didn't like the hours. It was very, very... And to be fair, I looked at the contract and I saw what I was going to have to go through, and I thought, nah. No. I remember I was saying, like, what's the pension going to be? When can I retire? And they said, retire? You won't be here long enough to retire. It's like, what? Buddhism. How did you get where you are? Blimey, that's a podcast in itself. As a podcast all by itself. And I think I've kind of talked about it quite a few times. I'm trying to think. With the podcasts, I progressed to doing podcasting. I started doing podcasting in 2007, I think it was. So I think 2007 was... I started doing videos in 2006. Started posting audios onto MySpace 2006. But I don't think there were any podcasts at that time, or I'd never heard of them. If there was, then I got a podcast in 2006, but I think it was 2007 I got a podcast. And I joined a podcast. It was called something like freepodcast.com. And it was free. And it was a great podcast hosting service. And I reached a lot of people. And everyone was supportive of each other. It wasn't like MySpace. My memory of MySpace is it was a really supportive place as well. Not like some of the... Well, once Facebook came out, YouTube, and the other social media stuff, although they were much better content-wise, you know, Facebook was in some ways much better than MySpace. YouTube was way better than MySpace as well. Facebook and YouTube took everything that MySpace had to offer. You know, the videos, and then podcasts took away the audios. So MySpace kind of wasn't needed. But for a while, it was a great place, and there's a lot of bands, and bands support each other. Artists, from my experience of seeing them online, support each other. They don't try and pull each other down. They, push each other up. And that was my experience. So I was putting videos, really bad quality videos, in 2006 onto MySpace and some audios, and I was getting like 10,000 people viewing it, 10,000 views, and the amount of people that say you're really doing really well, keep going, and stuff like that. It's like, and it was a 10-minute pain relief video in black and white, done on a webcam. And the only reason I had it in black and white is because it was a better picture in black and white, and that's why I did it. Because in colour it was too grainy, and I just thought I looked too pink. Until someone a few years pointed out, you are pink. That's just how it is. Just deal with it. I said, oh, fair enough. And that's how I got into podcasting, really. Started on MySpace with the audios, 2006. There's a lot more happened, but ultimately did the podcasting on the My Free podcast. That was still going in January 2008, because I remember I was bragging about it to my classmates at university, because I just reached 100,000 or something, or maybe more, of listeners, And I was so excited. I just wanted to show people, like, look, I do something. I'm successful. I don't know. Maybe that's how I was. And then that collapsed because they ran out of finances and I lost a lot of stuff, and then they shut down. It's when I started moving to other places. I think they kept going till probably another year, maybe 2009. And I started using SoundCloud. I used others as well, so I tried every single one out pretty much. But SoundCloud was the one I kept going back to because it just seemed the better one out of all of them. And then in 2000 and to give you an idea of the stats, I was still doing YouTube. YouTube was my predominant place where people were viewing my stuff. So I was getting, it was the opposite to what it is now. It was way more views on YouTube. I was getting, again, it's not a huge amount, but I was getting 45,000 video views a month. And I had at least one video that had reached 100,000 video views. So that had been my first popular video, like really popular. It was getting, at the time, I was getting like 10, like, 8, 6, 7,000 views a day when I released that one. This was back in 2011. By 2012, 13, I was still getting about 45,000 a day, a month. Or was it a week? I can't remember. I think it was a month. But I deleted the channel anyway for whatever reason. A little blip. And I then started to focus on the podcasts, and I kind of moved away from YouTube for quite a few years until 2018, when I opened another YouTube channel but did nothing on it for a few years. During that time, I was growing the podcasts, and the podcast grew from about 2017 onwards. They really started to grow quite a bit. In 2018, that's when I started this Let Me Bore You to Sleep. And yeah, that's when the podcast took over. The last couple of years I started posting stuff on YouTube, but it still gets very few watches really, but it's just there. If I made videos of myself on camera and I did those every day, I know that I would build up a larger audience, because some people they don't want to see a static page. They don't necessarily want to see my face, but they'd rather see a human being than just a static page with audio. Because they're like, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well go to a podcast. That's my thinking. As far as jobs, it's one of those things that everything kind of what you do leads you to where you are, I guess. I never expected to be doing this when I was younger. I had no interest in doing this when I was younger. Because this didn't exist. This podcast didn't exist. The internet didn't exist. I don't know, the closest thing would be being a radio DJ, I guess, or radio host. And the reason that I never even considered becoming a radio DJ is because my mood swings were so crazy. I didn't know from one day to the next what kind of mood I'd be in. So even if I had managed to become a radio host when I was in my 20s or 30s even, and I had a regular slot on a breakfast show, one day I'd be in a good mood, and the next day I'd be in a horrific mood. And I guess I can't imagine that job would last very long. So that's part of the reason why I didn't. Because I thought about it, because, I do always been a bit of a chatterbox, I guess, in some ways. And I don't need someone in front of me in order to talk. In fact, that's just a distraction if someone's sitting there. Jesus and Buddhism, I think again, without getting religious, because I'm not really particularly religious these days, but there was a period, I was brought up as a Catholic. Well, I lived in a Catholic monastery or Catholic nunnery for a couple of years. Before that, not really much religion, and after that, not much religion, to be honest. Apart from going to church with my nan. As a family, we didn't go to church when I was seven and above. Didn't go to church. Buddhism, something I became interested in because of martial arts when I was about 14. And I became interested when I was a kid watching Kung Fu on TV, because he was in a monastery, wasn't he? And then he was a Buddhist monk, and then he left there and had to walk on rice paper and stuff. So it put a little seed in there, like, oh, this is interesting. And there'd be philosophy, a very philosophical rather, TV show. And so I've studied Buddhism over the years, throughout my 20s. My main thing with, I guess, with Jesus or Christianity would have been when my dad was ill. My dad had a tumour in his neck, which was non-malignant, but it was in a place that was very, very dangerous to have surgery. He was only a young man. He must have been. I was about 11. So he's 26 years older than me. So that makes him, was he about 18? And so he had to go in the hospital, and that period I became really, really religious. It coincided with being given a Gideon's Bible, New Testament, at school. We all got given one. I've actually got one here. It's not the original one, but it's the same one. It's a red cover, Gideon. And I was reading it all the time, just during that period, and praying, and because I think that I was told something I shouldn't have really been told. Thinking about it, is someone told me that he might die, and that, like, on the operating theatre, and I don't know why anyone would do that, but hey, they did. And my dad didn't, but someone told me, and I was worried, completely worried. And even though I didn't necessarily always get on with him, during that period, he was vulnerable. I mean, he was in a lot of pain before the operation, because there was this, this thing was causing him a lot of discomfort. And then when he came out of hospital, he survived. When he came out of hospital, he had to convalesce for quite a long time. And so it's weird, because the scar right from his ear all the way down his neck is now just part of his creases, part of his wrinkles. I don't know, not wrinkles, but you can't even see it. But it was a huge old scar. And yeah, that's probably the most worried I'd ever been about him. And yeah, so that was kind of the Jesus thing. So that kind of went on. That's where I kind of went with that. I've had so many different jobs. I don't think any of them really led me to, but they all led me to this, as far as this, where I am. But security definitely that didn't lead me anywhere. That literally was me just like stuck in mud for a while. I didn't get much done in my life during that period. How did I get where I got here? Well, the very short version of a long story is a lot happened in a very short time that wasn't so good in my life. Everything kind of went wrong, kind of relationship, home, lots of different things, finances, family issues, all stuff, all at the same, like literally. And this was around the time that Tony Blair became Prime Minister. So this was like summer 97. And I basically reached out for help from my cousin, and she helped me, gave me somewhere to live, and I had to start rebuilding my life from that, rebuilding my world back up, because it kind of got a bit weird. It took a while, it did. And then the person that helped me after that was my friend Noel, and he chucked me a lifeline, and he helped me. And he helped me for 4 years. He's helped me for years since as well. But he really made a difference in my life, and gave me some self-belief, which I'd never had before. I actually believed in me. And that's when I got into hypnosis. That's when I got into learning stuff, started to realize that I could learn things. And then I suppose after years and years of learning different things, hypnosis and studying, I finally gained some confidence and decided in 2006, January, that's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something. I don't care what the result is. I don't care if it works or not. I'm going to put everything into this. So I did. Decided to do chronic pain relief service locally for free, and then to focus and to make videos and audios, put them on MySpace, and also volunteer at a alcohol rehab centre or alcohol charity doing relaxation sessions, which ended up doing it again at a drug rehab centre as well. So all those things, as well as working full time. So this was just something I liked. This is what I'm doing. And I did it. I was very, very busy. And it went from there. And because of the people I met in the charities, the two alcohol and drug rehab places, counsellors, I realised they were lovely. I really liked them. Which led me to get intrigued and like, how could I become a counsellor? Which is what I did. I became a counsellor. I started a university course at the end of 2007 in September. So you think I only started this January 2006. By September 2007, I was starting a degree in counselling studies. After 2 years, I was qualified counsellor in person-centred counselling. And then the third year I got the degree. Continued doing a podcast and all the way through that, and making YouTube videos. And other stuff happened, as it always does. But it's really only been since 2017 that the podcasts themselves really, really took off. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Like 23 hit a bit of a roadblock because the YouTube channel, the podcast host told me that I couldn't have music. And that messed everything up. So I had to restart because I had multiple different podcasts. So I had to kind of figure out how to do it. So I ended up starting, we're talking, let's have a look. We're talking, when was it? I can actually tell you all time. It was really, okay, 2023. 2023, last 12 months. Okay, that'll be better. October. So around September, they said, or August. Yeah, got to get rid of all the recordings of music. And at that time, I'd established myself, and I was getting between 300,000 and 500,000 plays a month. Sometimes more. I'd say sometimes, it went up to like 700,000-800,000, but I guess on average, it's hard to know now, to be fair, because it's a different podcast host now. I think I've lost the stats on that. I lost the stats. If it says all, does it say all time? Oh, okay. I've just gone onto Spreaker. I've still got a lot of my podcasts on Spreaker because just they need to be on there. They need to be somewhere. So I can't have a different what's it called, SoundCloud account for each podcast, because I can't afford to do that. It's too many. So according to this, before, well, okay, it's still now, but I've had very few downloads since October on this thing. But I had 14.9 million total plays or total downloads in however long it was. So it only goes back 2 years on the stats, but the overall stats are still there. 14.957, so 14.9 million in between I'd say pretty much between 2018 to 2023 August. So yeah, that's still, it's just, I was pleased with that until it all went a bit weird. So far on the main podcast with SoundCloud, with the, what's it called, Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, for the last, since, when was it, October? Yeah, since October last year, and it's now, was it 19th of April? Since October last year, 975,977 plays. So that's that podcast. The other podcasts really of any value, I say, because I do have the Deep Sleep Whisper one, but that just doesn't work for some reason. I don't know why. Apple's just not uploading. They're not updating, rather. So with the other one is the Let Me Bore You to Sleep one. And again, since October, I guess, last year, I've had 533,000 plays. So yeah, so there you go. Last month I had 71,185 on this one. So far this month, 19 days, 37,228. Ironic, yeah. So there you go. So in some ways things have gone, not got bad, but they've definitely dropped, because I'm not as available. I'm not as, all the links that were there online that I'd established, all the different places where people could listen to me, that I'd established for years and years and years, all gone overnight. But there you go. That's how I got to where I am, if that makes sense. It didn't sound very positive, did it? Right, Leah, would you ever get another ferret? Andre sounded like he brought so many smiles. Did he poop in a house, or was he potty trained in some way? There's a lot of questions. Did he poop in the house? Yes, he did. But he did it in places. So basically, the way I trained him is he trained me. So he let me know that ferrets like to go in a corner or against the wall. You know, they have to have their face looking at you, and they won't poo with their back to you. They have to look, you know, it's just a natural thing to them. So a corner's the ideal place for a ferret. So what I'd do is I found out where he liked to go, or I would fill all the other gaps in, all the other corners in, and just put stuff for him to go on in the corner. And he was happy with that. Yeah, he'd have the odd accident. I mean, to start with, he used to go in his cage because he had all the gravel and whatever, and he'd just have the corner bit for when he was during the day, and he'd go for a poo. Sometimes he'd even go into the cage to go for a poo and then come back out. Yeah, so he trained me. And then when we went out for a walk, he'd go for a toilet outside sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. I took him into the town, and he did it once he did it in a doorway of a shop. Like, why? Another time, he needed to go to the toilet so bad. But he was letting me know, but I wasn't really getting it, you know. We were in the middle of town. I was with a friend and her kid, and I picked him up because I thought, okay, I'll move him to a different part where there's grass. And he went all over me, like completely covered my trousers. It wasn't his fault. He was holding it in, because the one thing about ferrets is, I suppose it's the same kind of thing with a dog as well. They don't want to, and I think it's an animal thing, they don't want to just do it just anywhere. It's kind of a natural thing to maybe cover it up once they've done it, and to do it where they feel safe, where there's not anyone around them, no one's behind them and stuff like that. So I wasn't taking notice of what he was telling me. He was telling me he needed a toilet, and I was ignoring him because I was probably too busy focused on my friend who I was talking to. She found it hilarious. The kid found it hilarious. People around watching found it hilarious. I think even Andre found it quite humorous. I didn't enjoy one bit of it because, well, first I had to go into the toilet and try and clean myself off. I think I had to go and buy some trousers, like some shorts or something to put on, because I couldn't wear the trousers anymore. And so yeah, that wasn't a wonderful experience for me. Would I get another one? You know what, I thought about it, but it's one of those situations where I could never replace him. I wouldn't have even got a dog if it hadn't been for my friend downstairs bringing him up here and almost not forcing me. He didn't force me to get him, but he just said, oh, he needs a home. And Vinny at this point was running around my flat looking cute, like he does, all excited, and he was best friends with Logie, which was unusual for Logie to like other dogs at all. And I just blurted out, I'll have him. silly thing to just blurt out, but hey, it happened. And before that, I was thinking about getting a ferret, and I actually planned to go and see. I was going to get 2 this time, so they had company with each other, you know. But it turned out I had to. I waited for about 6 weeks, ready for these 2 ferrets to be ready to be picked up, and I had to just cancel it because I couldn't face it emotionally. Couldn't face it. So yeah, maybe in the future, but right now. Now, if my friend downstairs had brought up a ferret that day, I'd have a ferret now. Pretty much guaranteed. Because I just would have fallen in love with it. Or him or her, whatever. So it's just the way, just life, isn't it? Just the way it went. My friend downstairs, he always said he was going to get another ferret. One day. Oh well. So that's answered there. Francie says, "Hi Jason, what does the acronym ASMR stand for?" I think it's Autosensory Motor Response. Let me just check. Autosensory Motor ASMR. Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. What did I say? Autosensory Meridian Response. I got part of it wrong. I should have just looked first and then told you. But ASMR, autos, I know what it stands for as far as what it is, but the actual correct terminology, I got it wrong. It says Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. For example, a tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine. A pleasant form of paresthesia. So some people just get that feeling when they listen to whisperers or scratching or just movements, or they hear something all moving from one ear to the other, kind of. Yeah, it's quite, it was, see, what happened for me is I was already doing it without knowing I was doing it. So I was finishing my recordings, and this is 2011. I started finishing my recordings with whispering. I'd kind of move into a whisper, and the end would be like, and now you kind of relaxed and blah 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 blah, and you know, because hopefully by then they're not listening, so they're asleep. It doesn't matter what you say. And someone said to me, "You should do ASMR recordings." You already are. I thought, what? So I looked at, no, you should do whisper recordings. And then from then on, I said, you should do more ASMR stuff, whisper. I didn't realise that whisper was ASMR, and there's more to it than just whispering. There's loads of different things, makeup tutorials, things like that. Just crunching up different things. Now, I have to be careful now that the thing doesn't run out before, because now at 2 hours, because if this runs out, I'm gonna be in trouble. So that's Francie. So I've done that. What other? Oh blimey! I've tried to answer as many things as possible. Oh, the recording. Once it gets to 2 hours, sometimes it's a bit temperamental. Okay, so I'll be a little bit quicker with these ones. Cindy, oh no, Joanne says, "How is Logie going at his new home? How are you and Viddy going without him?" I'm doing well without him. The first week was very difficult. I didn't think it would be, to be honest with you, because him and Vinny were arguing a bit, and it was annoying me. It was worrying me because I didn't know how it would, if they really got into a punch up. Logie was so much bigger, but Vinny pined for him a little bit for about a week, but I think he was also happy to have his space back because he spent 2 months. They spent 2 months together, and that was enough. I spent 2 months on my bed, squashed to the wall, because Logie took up 3/4 of the bed, and Vinny took up 10%. No, but there was no room for me. But I'm glad that he's found somewhere, and he's doing well. He does have physical issues, arthritis and that, because he's getting on a bit. But I think he's happy, and he's with a lady that he loves, and he's known her a long time, many years, and so he knows her, and he's happy, and he's getting attention. I think all he really wants is he wants food, and he wants to sleep, and he wants to cuddle. He loves cuddling. So thanks, Joanne. It's Joanne or Joan? Joanne, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks, Joanne. Kate says, I often wondered this myself, so yeah, thank you. Diana says, which country would you love to visit if you could? I would love to visit. There's part of me would love to visit everywhere. There is a part of me. I'd like to visit English-speaking countries would be cool. Not just in a sense, not in a weird way, just in a sense of it'd be nice to go somewhere where, like Australia or America, New Zealand, Canada. I know Canada's not completely English-speaking, but I think it'd be cool to go to those places because, although they're English speaking, it's a different planet compared to this country. I've been told that New Zealand is fairly similar climate wise. I don't know if that's true or not, but Canada and America and Australia, very different places. And I guess because, especially like with America, it's had such an impact on the UK, like huge impact. And I've no doubt we've had a huge impact on them as well. But it would be interesting to, my voice is going. It would be interesting to go to certain places. I'd like to go to, where is it? Help me out. Phoenix, Arizona. I'd like to go to the museum for Milton H. Erickson. I'd like to visit New York. I'd like to go to the Comedy Store. That'd be cool. I quite like the idea of staying somewhere, living there for sort of 6 months or something, or a year, living in New York or living in somewhere cool, well, anywhere, just living somewhere and maybe travelling around. So yeah, Australia, Canada, but I'd also be interested in going to places like Denmark and Finland and European countries as well, partly because so many people that listen to me are from those countries. So I'm figuring anyone that listens to me has got to be cool and groovy. And so it'd be nice to maybe meet them, or to be around people that are cool and groovy. But other than that, I'm not going to focus on places I don't want to go, so I'll be positive here. I'd quite like to. I'd like to go to Russia. I'd like to go to China. I'd like to go to, and those places are probably, well, probably most definitely one of those places is not a place that I'd be allowed to go to at the moment, perhaps. But the history, the rich history of these countries, and so it'd be. I'd like to go back to Thailand. I'd like to perhaps go to Dubai as well, because it's almost a different planet to Dubai, where the way they've got the advancement in that society technologically is unparalleled. I suppose the only place you're going to get anything close to that would be maybe China, Hong Kong, with the technological advancement. It's just amazing. I remember I think in the airport, they got robots cleaning. And the robots stop when you're there. You can ask them questions and stuff. It's like, whoa. I'd like to go back to Bulgaria. I'd like to visit places like Poland and all those kind of countries as well. Romania, I'd like to visit Romania. So that'd be cool, but it'd have to be, I think it'd be nice to sort of travel, but do it leisurely. This is my ideal situation, okay, is if I had the finances to support it, I would travel around and make my podcast. So every day make a podcast and talk about what's happened, talk about where I've been, and just make the audio podcast, and that would be it. That's what I would do. And I'd have something to talk about, and I'd enrich my own life as well, I guess, in the process. Get to grow as a person. So that would be something I'd quite like to do, just travelling around different countries, learning new things, and maybe not the whole year, but part of the year maybe for 3 months a year, 6 months a year, 4 months, maybe not the whole year. And then I can make, I don't know. It's just an idea I've had that for years, but I didn't really follow that dream. The last question. 2 hours, over 2 hours. I'm going to do the last question. Cindy, what's been your favourite holiday so far? What superpower do you wish you had? What's a question you wish more people asked you? Okay. Jason, can I send you naughty pics? No, that's not. That's the question. What's been my favourite holiday? What superpower do I wish I had? Now, I'm going to be greedy. I want all of them. Right now, I'd like to have the superpower of not having arthritis in my lower back, because it's hurting. If I sit for too long in one position, or just in a chair, it really starts to ache. Oh. Anyway, what did it? What's the one? Would I go back on? Being your favourite holiday so far? That's a difficult one. Each one's had, because I went many years without going on holiday, but each one's kind of had its own little unique thing. So when I travelled through France for about a week or so through the Alps in the summer with some strange man I'd only met, he was a hitchhiker, became friends, and that was almost a journey of growth, a journey of becoming an adult almost, being out in the world and having sensible conversations and you know, I couldn't be a kid, even though I was 45. Now, even though I was, I don't know how old I was, 18 at the time. 1989 summer. So there's that one, Bulgaria, not because of the people I was with, no offense, but my enjoyment was when I was on my own with the waitresses and the bar people, talking to the people, the Bulgarians. That was my enjoyment of being there, just getting to know them. And I don't know why, but that's the part I liked about the holiday. Didn't like the skiing or the snowboarding, didn't like any of that stuff. I liked the fresh air, that was nice. Didn't like the fact that there was bears outside. That wasn't a big thing that I was excited about. But I got to know some people there, and that was cool. So yeah, other than that, some people say, what about Thailand? Well, if I could mix the two holidays together, I don't know, what was the question? What's been your favourite holiday so far? This is from Cindy, so that's the last question. I don't know. Because I had a nice little holiday in Torquay in 2003. That I liked that. Went to the Isle of Man. That was okay for a few days. Ireland, although that wasn't really a holiday, that was an actual, I'd moved there, but I came back after about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I was at Butlins in Torquay. Was it Torquay? I don't know, wherever it was. Not Torquay, somewhere. But that was a working thing, so I wasn't a holiday. France, I went to Spain for the afternoon, so that wasn't really a holiday either. Belgium, I've been about 3 times, but that was just for the day. Went to Amsterdam for about a week, or maybe 5 days, in 2003. So that was a pretty good holiday. But again, what I noticed when I went there is I wished I'd been with someone. I was on my own too much, and I would have enjoyed it more if I'd been with someone. It's weird. I like being on my own, but for that holiday, it was just, yeah, I think I'd have enjoyed it if I'd have had some company. I don't know who. And I think as far as probably Bulgaria, just for the simple fact that I actually had fun on my own with the people there, the locals, the people behind the bar, the waitresses, I think that's probably the place I liked. And I was still fairly young. I was 31 still, and yeah, I quite liked that. Yeah, that's probably the best holiday I've had. Although I just didn't, there was lots I didn't. I've never been on a holiday where I just like everything was great, and I just enjoyed it. I mean, I went to, what's it name? Blimey, Thailand. My brain's not working. I went to Thailand, and there was the first time I cracked my ribs. Second time is I had a chest infection, so I didn't get to enjoy either of those times, not properly. I had a few moments that were good, but ultimately I suffered from through both of them. I had, I think the second day I broke my rib, or for the first one, and I think I had 2 days, two whole days, or 3 days before the chest infection. So it's like, yeah, wasn't worth it. And again, I was on my own. And there's something sometimes is, see, because I'm not a drinker, I'm not a partier. There's a lot of people that was out there that were just out getting drunk all every day, and that's not me. Even, I mean, I don't drink at all these days. But even when I did drink, I didn't want to do it every day. It's boring doing the same thing every day, like drinking and whatever. So, and the temperature was a little bit too hot for someone like me with my skin. You know, I've got pink skin. I'm not suited for hot weather. I don't know. I think my best holiday's yet to come. I don't know when I'll ever be able to afford to go away again, but my best holiday's yet to come, and I'd like to think it's going to be, as I say, I'd like to go to America, Australia, I'd like to go to New Zealand, I'd like to go to Canada, I'd like to also go to a lot of European countries, and also I'd like to go to Russia and China, because there's just the history. I mean, Russia is part of Europe, isn't it? As far as the East, China, there's lots of different countries in that part. There's certain countries I'm not that bothered about going to, just for various different reasons. Political, not my political reasons, but like governmental political reasons, which wouldn't be a good idea, I don't think, someone going there like me. But I do, you know, there's not many places I wouldn't like to visit, as long as I was safe. You know, that's kind of the main thing. Just as long as I'm okay. I like the idea of going on cruises, because then if you're in a group and you go visit places and you get back on the boat and maybe stay in a hotel somewhere for a day and then you get back, that seems like it'd be quite fun to do for part of the year, or every now and then, you know. That's what my dad does. My dad goes on cruises. Sometimes he takes his wife. No, they do go together. So that's it. I managed to answer all the questions, and my left buttock is numb. Well, it's not numb, it's actually hurting, but I need to move. I need to stand up. It's sitting there for 2.5 hours or something. So I'm going to go. I hope this answered the questions. Thank you. I don't know if I want to do another one of these. It's long. It takes ages. It's a lot of work. It's now, what time is it? Bloody, it's 8 o'clock in the evening. I started this about 2 in the afternoon. Wow. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you. And remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And I will do another one of these next week, I think. Wow. Q&A Friday. I mean, there's how many more questions could there be, to be honest? There can't be that many more questions left to anyone's. Plus, there's only like 159 people now. Someone left the group for whoever it was, I don't know. So we've got 159 members. So if you are listening and you're not a member of the Jason's boring group, whatever it's called, I don't know, is it Jason Newland's boring group? Just join on Facebook if you want, and then you can ask me a question, because yeah, that's it. That's the only place to ask me. It's the only place to ask me a question. So I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. Lots of love. Bye.